Welcome, everyone. Thank you again for joining me on this increasingly hot, although it was so beautiful this morning, day here in Downers Grove. Thanks again for all the time you've taken today. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. We'll try to keep this to under an hour as much as I can. My name is Joy Madison. I am the Adult and Teen Services librarian, but most of my job is business outreach. What does that mean? People are like, oh, librarian, you're not a business owner. What does that mean? That means I'm here for you. I'm here for your business information needs. So I don't have an MBA. I can't write your business plan, but I know people who can write your business plan for you or work with you to write your business plan. So that means I usually work with entrepreneurs, small business owners locally, and there's a lot of those in Downers Grove. There's so many of you. Some of you I know, some of you I'm still getting to know, so I'd love to get to know you more on a one-on-one basis now that we can do that again. Okay, so what you're looking at, if you can see my screen, and if you can't, just chat, and if you can't see it, this is, let me go ahead and move this here. This is the business page from the Downers Grove Library. So it's going to be located, I'll move this down here. It's going to be located right here under Just For. So you get kids, teens, seniors, businesses right on our front page. You can check it out. So we've got what the picture is of our, basically like our lab, or basically a room for we can usually do this for trainings, but anyone right now, this is something, normally I would do this kind of event right here in this room. And people can use it, try out the databases, that kind of thing. But obviously we'll get to that one day again. Okay, so here's kind of what, I'm just going to tell you a little about the resources that are not business databases, what you know about what your business can use for the library. The biggest thing I think a lot of you guys really are excited about is a public space to work. I know a lot of you guys are tired of working at home, or if you're working from your own office, maybe you have a storefront somewhere, but you need a place maybe to meet with a client, or you need to meet with someone one-on-one, or have a small, maybe right now we've got about a space for study rooms if you need to book them, and they are absolutely free. We don't ask right now, our conference rooms and meetings are not open. So if you need to meet with a group of more than 4 people, we are still waiting to hear back on when that's going to start up. Probably the fall, but don't quote me on that. All that to say is for businesses, I know a lot of people do like to use them for meeting rooms, and there are a lot of 2 of them, I believe, actually do have HDMI capabilities. We have flat screens in there if you need to project something as well. Give us a call. Right now, it's only same-day reservations. If you want to call in advance with your Downers Grove card, that's totally fine, just for the same day. Right now, one day we will be going back to doing longer bookings for reservations, but right now we're not doing that. The other thing I do is one-on-one help. So back pre-COVID, we did this in person, but I've done them on Zoom, and I'm happy to do them either way, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you just want someone to go over your pitch, or you want someone to kind of talk through a little bit of just your business plan, or, hey, I really need to know my competitors, or I would really love to learn, like right now, one of your new databases. I don't know anything about it. I would love someone to show me. I am happy to meet with you one-on-one. We will figure out a time that works for your schedule. I work mostly 9 to 5, but I work one Tuesday night a month, or a week, I should say. And I'm happy to meet with you as well, if that on a time that works for you. That's really important to us. I'm happy to just be a good listener if that's all you need. Sometimes people are like, oh, this idea's been in my head. Is this crazy? I'm like, well, I'll tell you if it's crazy or not. So that's kind of what I'm doing here at the library. And I love going to your businesses. So if you want me to come over there and come say hi, and I'm happy to, if you need a place for a jobs board, we have a wonderful jobs board on the first floor of the library. And so if you need someone to be hired and you have a Downers Grove business, come talk to me. I'm happy to see if we can get your advertisement up there for the library. It gets a lot of viewage, whatever that word is, a lot of viewing. There we go. Last thing I'm going to say is business library cards. I'm going to scroll down here so you can see what this is. This is super cool. Even if you don't live in Downers Grove, but you have a Downers Grove business, so your address is in Downers Grove, you absolutely can get a business library card. What that means, it works exactly like a regular library card. And what's even nice is that if you have employees, you can issue up to 5 cards. So your employees do not have to live in Downers. If you can prove that they are your employees and you can authorize use for their library cards, You, like it says here, an owner or director must request the library cards by completing the form below, which is right here. And it's completely full DGPL services. So that means if you just want to use them to check out movies, no one cares. If you just want to do it, but if you really want to use it for your business and you want to make sure your employees, let's say you want them access to some software tutorials, you want them to learn Excel better, or you want your employees to figure out maybe QuickBooks 101, that's absolutely something you can do with those library cards online. It's a wonderful thing, and we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so that's the main things I do beyond looking at databases today, but I did want to kind of take some time to see of like what, and back down here, we've got some business events, and you can absolutely sign up for a business newsletter as well. But that's just a couple of things that I do, and I love it. This has been an incredible, I'm sure people are you're tired of people talking about how difficult this year has been for you and your business. So I'm not gonna do that, but please know I am here as a listening ear, and we're gonna do everything we can to support you and your business at the library. Our offices and our desk is on the second floor of the library. So you can come upstairs. Sometimes I'm at the desk, sometimes in the back, or I'm working from home, but just let me know. You can always shoot me an email. I'll put my email at the end of the today's meeting. I'll make it, if you guys want to email me directly, that's totally fine with me. Okay, so without further ado, and if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. I will get to them at the end, or you can just save them. I'm going to go ahead and unmute everyone at the very end of the presentation. Okay. All right, so we're going to access our business research databases, and you can absolutely do any of these from home with your Downers Grove cards. So please know, like, what I'm looking here is not anything you can't access yourself. Okay, so I will tell you a little bit of the most popular databases first. I'm not going to go necessarily in order, but this is, well, I guess I can. It's not a big deal. But the biggest one you may have already heard of, it's recently changed its name. It used to be called Reference USA. It's now called Reference Solutions, this first one here on the top. This is a really big directory. So back in the day, if you've been in business a long time, these directories used to be like these giant, when I first started, it was like these giant books. We used to have them of like, this is where all the business, your business directories, your residential listings, kind of like a Yellow Pages and business listings all in one. But all that stuff's been online now for quite some time. So what you need to do, you're going to get stopped here. And if you don't know your library card number or your PIN, you can come see one of the librarians. Anyone in the library, any staff member is happy to help you with that. If you're not sure what that is, I'm going to go ahead and sign into mine right here. And yes, I've signed I know my card by heart, because if you work, you would do it too. Okay, yay, we're in the right place. Okay, so go ahead and start this up. Okay, so Reference Solutions is a really, really big database. I usually start here. Basically, the questions that I often get asked are, well, who are my competitors? Are there any people that are locally I'm looking for a company information. I want to know how many employees this one company has, or I'm looking for how many, like I had a question the other day of like, I need to know how many businesses are in the Route 83 corridor from this like street location to this street location. Believe it or not, Reference USA can get you all that data. It's kind of intense, and there is a lot. So if this quick tutorial is like, whoa, Joy is talking super fast, I don't know what she's saying, I'm happy to talk one-on-one with you, and we can go over it much more slowly, and you can be in charge of the computer and do it yourself. Okay. All right, so we're going to get started. So you'll see here, it's kind of like a database within a database. So these all are separate, like searching databases. So you don't have a big search bar when you start here. You are going to get started with one of these. So if you are looking for customers, you might look at the white pages or the consumer lifestyles, right? If you're looking to kind of compare businesses, or you want to look, usually that's what I'm looking for, is business information, or you're looking up a company, I would obviously start here. I've never used Canadian, but you could. Or you're looking for new businesses. I use this one, honestly, you guys, when I've used this one to make sure that I'm not missing any new businesses in Downers Grove. I have other resources to do that. But if there's a new business that started up within the last year, 6 months, 3 months, Reference USA, or I'm sorry, I keep saying that, Reference Solutions can show you that. But what I'll start with is this US businesses one. Okay, So if you already know what you're looking for, your company name, we can absolutely go through here and you can file, you know, I've been using Gamestop because, you know, it's been on people's minds if you know anything about like all that investing stuff. So you can look at, you don't have to fill in anything except the name of the company. You can view the results a little bit. We'll do a quick search here so you can kind of get an idea of what this might look like. You're going to see a lot of different places for Gamestop, right? Because think about it. You've got these are all the retail stores, this is a huge chain that has been all over the country. So I could go back, I'm like, well, actually, I just want to look at the ones in Illinois, right? So we can go back here. I'll show you the kind of information you're getting. So you will get, as you notice, you'll get the executive name, the person who's, well, more or less the store manager, right? Let's go back down here. Chicago, you've got 5 pages of results, even just for Illinois. That's a lot of GameStops, 110. And you'll notice only 2 are with email addresses. So Reference Solutions does have a few drawbacks. You're not going to find, obviously, CEO phone numbers in here. You're not going to find a ton of email addresses. I'm seeing more and more. I will say overall, you're seeing more than there used to be, but overall Reference Solutions does have its limits. But what's nice is you absolutely have a phone number. You could say, hi, I'd like to talk to Mr. Kelly from Arlington Heights, please. You can call that number and talk to the manager of GameStop for that store. That's a really nice feature and really nice. So when you click on it, if you want a specific result, as long as I can, there we go. Okay. So this is this is what a general result will look like for a business profile. So you'll get an idea, like if you don't know what an SIC code or an NAICS code is, that's just going to give you a description of what kind of subject or genre, more or less. I kind of put it as genre. I'm a librarian. I think in genres of what your business is or what their business is. So if you're looking for all the different kind of video game businesses in Illinois, this would be the SIC code you could look up in here. Does that make sense? So you can kind of look through here and kind of take a look at that. Obviously, you can check for job listings. I'll scroll down here so you can kind of see what else is on here. It'll usually tell you the location of employees, how many people work here, the location sales volume. That's pretty good. I guess we're looking at the Arlington Heights one, right? Yeah. So last updated. Okay. So Reference Solutions has representatives who call almost all of these businesses in here. That obviously is a very important number, right? You're going to want to know when was the last time, do they still have 8 employees? As of November 2020, they did, right? But who knows, like with that pandemic, what that number was before that. It's going to tell you your credit rating. We know all that other information, obviously hours of operation. As we scroll down here a little bit. Okay, so he's the site manager. So that's his official title. That's also good to know, whatever his number, whatever that is. Okay, so these are business expenditures. This is always nice when when you're starting a new business, like a yoga studio, whatever you're doing for your work, you can absolutely look through this and be like, oh, like I didn't know it's a good ballpark of like what each place is looking for. And that's been really nice for new business owners to kind of get an idea. Here's your sales volume by year and your employee size. Okay, Ucc Filings. I don't usually go through all this down here. Now, obviously, you can absolutely download this to your device if you want to. If you have a specific, I really want to make sure you can print this right now. Here's your little handy print button up here on the right. You can go through all this stuff. There's just a lot of really nice things about this. You can do a radius search of what kind of idea of where finding basically, well, there are GameStop stores nearby, but that's kind of a basic result. So that is if you knew the name of a company and that's all the information you needed, Reference Solutions got your back for the most part with all that stuff. Like I said, you're not going to find email addresses necessarily, but you will find phone numbers, and most of the time it's really not, and you have that address and you'll get a lot of information on that company. Okay, so going over to advanced search, this is my favorite thing. I mentioned all those cool things that Reference Solutions can do. That's because it's all here in advanced search. Okay, so this is kind of where I got started. So this is going to be all these limiters here on the left. They're kind of small. I hope you can see them okay. You've got all kinds of options here, which can, I realize, be rather overwhelming. So what I usually start with is, where am I searching? Well, okay, So I really want to start with Downers Grove, right? Where my businesses that I'm searching for are Downers Grove, Illinois. So remember, just as you're searching in here, this is going to, whatever you click, if you make a check mark on the left, it will populate in the middle. That's just something important to remember. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the go button. And I'm going to select, I just want, you could do Downers Grove and Woodridge. And then I can update my account now, but I'm going to go ahead. I've got 4,000 businesses in over that in Downers Grove. So now let's say like, well, let's limit to my major industry group. Let's figure out what kind of companies we're looking for, right? Now, this is kind of where those NAICS you see up here or SIC codes come in handy. You don't have to know those. Please don't worry if a lot of people are like, I don't know what that is. I have no idea. That's completely fine. Let's go, let's see, retail trade. That's always fun. Okay, let's go to food stores. How many grocery stores? Anyone want to know? I'm not going to do all the other ones. Let's just do something really, let's just update our count here. We've got 30 grocery stores in Downers Grove. So let's go ahead and view these results. Same thing, this is going to be the same way. You've got a lot of different examples, how they're using grocery stores here. And of course, this is all alphabetized. We've got 7-Eleven at the top, and we've got 2 pages of results. So obviously, most of these should be pretty familiar to you. Now, I will say, you will find typos in here. You will find things that seem a little weird, like maybe the title of the business, it seems misspelled to you. I have absolutely said that. If you've seen anything, especially if it's your business in here, you can absolutely contact me or contact Reference Solutions. They will be like, hey, like they love to hear from business owners. So don't feel bad if you're like, whoa, that's weird. That's not what Angela's Foods was spelled like. That's fine. So what's nice about these is that you can absolutely make a chart. Oh, we can't, we're not gonna do a chart today. We can download these to, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot this. If you wanna download these into a spreadsheet, so if you wanna put this into Excel or PDF, you absolutely can do that. Well, all you need to do is click on this company name here. If you wanna do all of them, I'm just gonna go over here and do it again. And then we're gonna download it. This page will bring up absolutely, I guess we can't do PDF for the most part, but what's nice is you can go over to Excel, which is an older Excel, which is fine. And I'm not going to download records today, but it would include your name, address, phone number, and all. I mean, I usually don't do all data. It takes up a ton of information, but if you absolutely need a summary, you want to maybe give it to a client or give it to a colleague, that's really nice to have. I use this, people ask me for this information, but it's also really useful for you if you just want to save it. If you're like, oh, wow, I just took like 20 minutes searching and I can't remember all I did. This is a great way to save it. Okay. All right, so let's go back and do a new search here. A couple other things for Reference USA, because this is the one I use the most because it is pretty user-friendly. It's got, I mean, you just got to know how to use it. In fact, this is something the other librarians have asked me to retrain them on because it's been a while for them to use. And I got to remember to do that too, because it's just there's so many different things you can use for it. So I mentioned before, so let's go down here. Okay, so down here, let's say you've got number of employees. You can absolutely search, like I'm looking for grocery stores that have over 50 employees. We can absolutely put that in here as well. So you'll remember anything that you add in here, I started a brand new search, but you could put in Downers Grove, you would put in number of employees, and then you would put in, you could go back here, go up to major industry group, or if you know the the NAICS code or their SIC, you could do that as well. And then you would update your count and view your results. One other cool thing people like is a map-based search. So let's say you're not just looking at Downers Grove, you want like Chicagoland, or you just kind of want like a basic, you're going to open up, I'm going to go ahead and open up this map. So that's going to let you select geographical areas. And it's pretty neat. So you can absolutely print whatever you're looking for. I'm just going to put in our zip here. Takes a minute. There we go. So you can, if you're like, okay, I need to find all of the different kind of yoga studios within this radius, you can absolutely define your radius here and kind of, whoa, there we go. And then you're done. And then you're going to update your count and that's going to be included. So here's your radius. They have the number here. So if that's really important to you too, you're just getting a ballpark figure, literally kind of like a ballpark, a figure of where things are located. That's a really nice way to do that. And that's exactly how with that one question I got was, I need from this street on Route 83 to like Black Hawk Drive in Westmont. Like they needed all the businesses and the names of the businesses on that specific several, I don't know how many streets that was. That's exactly how I did it. It was really nice. And you could also draw, I think there was a way to draw on that as well. Okay, all right, so that's a quick overview of the business databases. There's obviously a lot on here. You can search, you can even, one thing actually I have been doing is looking at executive ethnicity. For instance, someone had asked me how many Black-owned businesses in Downers Grove. I'll tell you right now, there's not a lot. But you can absolutely go over here and check on executive ethnicities if you were curious, or if you needed to know information, if you were doing data analysis for another company or for your own, that's really an important thing here. So you can also, or looking at gender, how many female-owned businesses are in this location. That's also something you can use. Okay, all right, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to go quickly over to the other databases within Reference Solutions before I go through some of the other ones. And I promise I'm not going to take up too much of your time here today. Okay, so the other one, like I mentioned, you're looking for, I really want to have an idea of what kind of customers are located where. So if you are, I don't know, whatever your businesses are, but let's say you're starting a jewelry shop, or you're going to start maybe an Etsy shop and you're looking for people who like jewelry in this area. So you could go to the white pages. I usually go to consumers and lifestyles, and I'll show you why. So usually this one here, I'm not looking at names because I don't know who my customers are yet, right? So I need to go over to advanced search. So over here in advanced search, over here you're going to see these same limiters. That's what they're called on the left-hand side, okay? I'm curious about their lifestyles. What are the people interested in, right, in this area? Of course, I still want to select Downers Grove because I'm interested in Downers, but of course, again, you can use metro area, the map-based search you saw before, whatever is of interest to you. Okay, so select that. I'm going to update my account because there's a lot of people in here. Okay, so then I'm going to go over down here. You could, let's see, which one we said jewelry, right? Okay. Beauty and cosmetics. No. Let's find the one. It always takes a minute. We're like, which one are we going to look for here? Hobbies, crafts, sewing, books and magazines, politics. So there's a lot here, but purchase behavior. Okay. And yeah, so you can, I often add this one too. Someone likes to purchase on the internet. So if I'm an Etsy, if I'm starting an Etsy shop, I would be curious about that as well. Now, keep in mind, people often ask me, where does Reference Solutions get this data? Please know, it's not, I know it's funny, like Google and all these different places, there's a lot of privacy concerns with a lot of this stuff. Please know that Reference Solutions has been around a long time. And most of the stuff is really based on print materials. So if you get Harry and David catalogs sent to your mail, that's Harry and David and all the other people who you like fruit and you like fruit sent by mail. It's going to be like that kind of information. That's how they're able to gather that data. It's very, I would say it's primitive, if that makes sense. And if you really are very concerned about where they're getting that information, I'm happy to look into that more for you. I will say it's very broad. Keep that in mind. This is not specific, like, oh my gosh, they all know that I love pets and politics and it's okay. This is for you as the business owner, and it's free. So this is the other thing I mentioned, like people often do hire people to look for obviously for your clients. But this is a good general first step that I usually show people. Okay, so let's go. I'm curious about beauty and cosmetics, so because I can't seem to, jewelry's in here, but I'm not going to take time to look through here right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just choose beauty and cosmetics. So we've got a record core. Oh, email count. That is new. Oh, that's interesting. Usually you did not have email addresses in here to directly email clients. So I'll mention up here, it says lifestyles are scored based on level of interest from 0 to 9 in our database. 0 meaning no interest, 9 meaning heavy interest. Selecting lifestyles from our categories below will include individuals with a score of 6 or higher. Okay, so I'm going to view my results here, okay? There's a lot. People who like beauty and cosmetics. Okay, so you've got names here. And obviously I will have to tell you, please don't go to these people's doors, door to door. If you have a business, I'm not thinking anyone here will do that. But get an idea. You can absolutely look at a map as well. You've got your heat map of where people are located. And of people who like beauty and cosmetics in Downers Grove. Obviously, they're literally everywhere. I made it really broad, but the more specific you get with those limiters, the more that red heat map will get a lot smaller. So that's kind of how that works. And it's, yeah, you can absolutely put, so there's 24,000 consumers, which is quite a lot. I mean, Downers Grove is what? We're sitting at almost 60,000 residents, something like that. So, and for this information, if you want me to just click on someone's name, I'm happy to do it. Poor Kathleen. It's very broad, like I mentioned. It's going to give you estimated household income, which you can also search by all of these, by the way. Estimated home value, and address and houses. So down here, these are the lifestyle interests. And you could have absolutely picked more of these if you're interested in that. And notice here, this purchase behavior right here, okay, catalog shopper, like this is going to be, it's really broad. Now, I have not talked to Reference Solutions since pre-pandemic. I don't know what their current criteria is for consumers and lifestyles. And as a librarian, privacy is very important to us. Like for instance, we don't keep records of anything you check out at the library after you've returned it. If you have it checked out, yes, we know what those are. But if you've returned it, I don't know what it is. You can keep track on that on your end. But we were, I will say, libraries and public libraries, one of the first ones to really bastion public patron privacy and user privacy. And that's something we still fight for with databases. And we often leave databases if they don't comply, because we find that very important. Okay, so that's I'm not gonna talk too much more about Reference USA because we have some other databases to get to. But that's the basics of it. There are obviously more databases I'm not going into today, but that's a basic overview. And it's pretty great. I'll say I've been very grateful for Reference Solutions. It's really helped in a pinch where I'm like, I have no idea where we're gonna get that data. And it's been really helpful. So I'm gonna go back to the Downers Grove website and we're gonna go back to the business pages here. Okay. All right, so now after this, we're gonna go pretty quickly. That was the one I'm gonna take the longest on. I'm gonna take the next like maybe 10 minutes each on the rest of these here. So lynda.com, you may have heard of lynda.com because it's used for a lot of different resources, but I'm gonna talk a little bit of how businesses can use Lynda. So it is, if you don't know what it is probably one of the biggest training tool. It is now called LinkedIn Learning. And I'm putting in my library ID, which is just my library card number. At least it better be, because I don't know if they've changed it. My library doesn't have access. Oh no, I can't show this today. Oh dear. Okay. I'm sorry, you guys. I can't seem to link. So this is a perfect example. We've been having some issues with LinkedIn Learning. I will say I will happily go over a one-on-one with LinkedIn for any of you guys. I'm not sure why it's not letting me through. I should have double checked this before. Just going to make sure one more time. Library does not have access. Okay, I'm going to have to look through this again. That's really concerning. You should have, if you're able to log in with Lynda, let me know. But that's really concerning, and I'm going to have to talk to our vendor about that. So LinkedIn Learning, Lynda used to be called just lynda.com, and then LinkedIn bought lynda.com a few years ago. And we were really concerned as libraries that they were going to be using, like if you had a LinkedIn profile, all your Lynda results. So like if you completed a tutorial, was going to be showing up in Lynda on your LinkedIn account. And we didn't want that. So long story short, we kind of went through a lot of talks with Lynda and, well, not LinkedIn Learning. And we really needed to go make sure that things were actually working properly. So I guess I won't have time for that. I'm really sorry about that, you guys. I should have double checked on that. But I will absolutely get back to you. And if there's any other issues with LinkedIn, I will let you all know. But it is I will say, Lynda is really helpful, especially when it comes to training. So like I mentioned, you want your employees to learn Excel or Gmail or Microsoft Word, or you just need a refresher on specifically for businesses. They have a lot of information on networking or branding and marketing. Things that I will often hire business presenters to do here at the library, but it's also something that you can use through Linda as well if you just want to get some good tips or some from different businesses. So it is very useful, and I'm going to double check and see why Access is not working. Again, my deepest apologies, but it will mean that we're hopefully going to end a little early, which is good. Okay. So the next three ones here, we've got Business Source Complete. These are all kind of similar. Business Source Complete and Legal Information Reference Center, and then Lexus Uni. I'm putting Business Source Complete kind of similar to Legal Reference Information. These are like, again, your kind of more traditional business journals and information that you need for your business. So as it says, Business Source Complete, this is going to be business journals. And I'm happy to open up. We can take a look. Okay, they should probably, okay, great. I'm surprised. Okay, so I'm already logged in. This is the Downers Grove Public Library, but they may stop you and ask you for your Downers Grove card. You shouldn't have any trouble getting in. What's nice here is you can go to publications if you're not sure what you're looking for. This is really great just for, again, you're looking for market research. I've often so my husband was looking at woodworking for a long time as a possible side income. We're looking at publications here, but you can do a search here and see what kind of information you could use for woodworking, or you're just kind of getting a basic idea in specifically searching the journals. So you're looking at, there will have a lot of different information here, and think of it as research. This is very similar. In fact, this interface is very similar to a student interface. And so you've got, I realize there's a lot of stuff here. I didn't make it very specific, but you can look at a publication and kind of narrow it down a little bit here on the left. When in doubt, always go to your left-hand side. And I always choose full text. And it's going to tell you a little bit about where things are located. So your left-hand side is always going to be where your limiters are to really get more specific to what you need. And publication date, this is kind of nice. So you can kind of use a slider here and something within the last 10, 15 years, kind of give you an idea. And this kind of works the same way. So Business Source Complete, there are some older articles in here, but depending on what you're looking for, you might not need something brand new. So on a lot of these things, so you've got, let's see here. So down here, you've got all the different information here for, again, this looks a lot like a research database. But I do come in here when someone is asking me to look into not just a specific article, but they need information on market research for their company or like what, and they've got a lot of stuff on here. So even if you just did a random, some different analysis, company profiles, that kind of thing, that's all going to be in here. And it'll tell you how many years it's in here. So the company profile, how long they've kept a lot of this information. And if there is PDF full text. Full text is what you want every single time. Most of it in here is full text, but not everything. So down here, you'll see there's no full text on here. So keep that in mind when you want to download. And you can absolutely email, print these to yourself, just like a regular PDF if you were in here. I will say, I don't know a lot of patrons who use this on their own, but I usually go alongside a patron who's looking for someone or a business owner who's just needs some help kind of understanding how to use this. So I'm happy to go through one-on-one with you with any of that. The publications in here, this is what I'm looking through, is just kind of the different journals that you can look through, but you can absolutely go by subject and description, kind of like what we did. So we could go through law journals are in here, there's a few in here. Again, we only have 2 full texts here for law. Some of these are very expensive. We have a few more. So it's a Michigan Law Review, Journal of Corporation Law. And if you clicked on one of these, you can kind of get a little more information on what's here. Here's the issues and articles from 2020. And kind of look through all that stuff as well. So keep in mind, these are academic journals. So again, I've had law students come and ask me for help with this. They need to cite something for a paper, that kind of thing. This is nice to use. So there's many different uses for that. But again, as a business owner, most of the time people need is for market research. And that's where I usually go. And if I can't find it there, we'll find another place to find that has it. Okay, all right, so that's Business Source Complete. Again, it's the database that it's more like how I think of a database, which is, it's basically you're researching a specific topic, a subject. You might be doing company profiles, but more you're looking for direct analysis or data of information, maybe on whatever whatever your specialty is in your business. That's kind of where you want to go. Okay, so we'll go back. Oh, I'm gonna go. Let's put this down here. Okay, go back to the top. All right. Okay, so we're going back here. So we're almost done. We're going to get through a couple more here. Okay. All right, so that was business source complete. Legal info, I'm going to go through this one, then use Lexus Uni as the last one. Okay, so we have had some, this is legal advice 101 right here. So I think a lot of people will say that if you're starting a business, you should actually contact a lawyer. I would say in most cases, unless you have a law background, that's a good idea. But if you want to do some of your own research before you hire somebody, this is a great place to go. And I'll show you a little bit of what is what is in here.
Trust wills and estates.
Okay. So, so Legal Information Reference Center is pretty great. So what a lot of time you have a lot of stuff, not just for businesses, but for wills and estate planning. So you might have heard of something called NOLO guides. They're a company that does a lot of basic, like getting, like over here, you've got your legal forms, accident claims, bankruptcy, buying a house, selling a house, human resources, divorce. They kind of cover everything. In fact, they often look like this down here. And we have most of these in print at the library. And they usually come out every couple of years. So I usually try to buy the new ones when I can. And a lot of it has to do with, hey, starting your own business, business buyout agreements. So they got all sorts of stuff in here. And I do come in here if someone's just looking for a quick form, or they want to make sure something is done above level. So I'm going to go over to the business and corporation section here, and kind of a little bit of what you need to do. So think of this as, like I said, this is legal advice 101, and what you can use for that. So you got employee rights, human resources. I'm going to go over here to business accounting. So this is going to be, these are again books. So think of these as ebooks that you can find on here for free through the web, through this database, that you can absolutely just grab with your library card, just look through it. You can print whatever page you need. So you'll see these are chapters. Negotiating a favorable lease, checklist for starting a small business. You're going to have all sorts of fun stuff in here. And I don't know why they're not in order. That's really weird, Nolo. I don't know what's going on there. Of course, you can control find and look for a specific part if you're looking for, putting together like accounting, or you need to put together a business plan. You can also do the search bar right up here as well. Okay, so again, you've got the tax audit information, legal guide for starting and running a small business, your IRAs information, tax deductions. And money and financial planning is another one I use over here too. So this is, again, you can absolutely print the forms directly from here as well. So on this right-hand side here, if you just want to go over here, we'll just use human resources. They should have them right in here. So instructions for a personal blog and online posting, policy and acknowledgement form. You'd be surprised. And some of them are specific to Illinois, but a lot of this is just basic information. It'll say specifically, oh, this is a legal form for the state of Illinois. It will say that in the title. But I am not a law expert. So if you have more questions on that, I can look into it and find someone who does know that information. We have some local business attorneys that we have often presented for us that I could also ask their permission if you need that kind of help. Okay, so again, the form is usually, oh, where'd it go? Usually the forms are in here. So I'm sorry, I'm not giving a good example here. So this is the instruction. So then you've got the personal blogs and online posting policy. So you can absolutely print this, and here we go. Yeah, so this is going to be the policy acknowledgement and your signature on this form. You've got a couple different ones in here that's really useful and really helpful. And if you were even working with a lawyer, they would, I'm sure, appreciate the extra help, the extra work you've already done, kind of educating yourself on a lot of this information that you've done on your own. So yeah, NOLO is great, or I should say, I call it NOLO because that's what's basically in here, but it's the Legal Reference Information Center. So we'll go back here. And they've got, yeah, patents, copyrights, and trademarks, information on that. And it's all really updated. I should mention, if you're finding something on the library shelf on patents, copyrights from 2014, this is going to be more updated than that. So if you're kind of comparing a little bit of that, then that's kind of what that's going to look like. And of course, property and real estate, all of that fun stuff. Okay, all right. So that is NOLO. And then real quick, go back here. Okay. Okay, so lastly, we'll go over Lexus Uni. Now, Lexus Uni used to be called LexisNexis, if you're familiar with it. It's one of our, I will say it's one of our more expensive databases that we pay for. It has a lot of, again, you know, as people may not be aware of this, but this is all about, again, very similar to NOLO, but this is about law and cases. So you've got over here, oftentimes people are looking for cases or company information. If obviously the company's been in the news, you can enter your terms, sources, companies. I was using Gamestop as an example. If it's been in the news, if it's been in any kind of like Apple, or you're looking to do more research on a specific company. So I don't use this. I use this, more law students use this than entrepreneurs and business owners, but clearly it's got many different uses. But overall, you've got a lot of information in here. And honestly, if you're looking for a state law, or you're looking for a specific thing that your business is running up against, statutes and legislation, cases here, this is a great place to go. And I hope it's not too overwhelming to look at all this data. It's basically, you're just looking at articles. You're looking at different articles from journals. It'll tell you where it's located, the Associated Press. Some of it's stuff you could get online, but a lot of it is going to stop you because you're not paying for it. So negative news. Oh, that's new. So negative personal and business news. So again, you'll notice here too, they're pulling out game and stop. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give you a little librarian trick. I'm going to put some parentheses around this because they're pulling out each keyword. So this is what we do in library world. If you put parentheses out around anything, you will actually get a much better result. So if I'm looking for the actual, look at that, my results went down to 88,000. So again, it says, look, this was about May 12th, right? That was that whole situation when the stocks were getting run off the ground and it was going crazy a couple months ago, or about a month ago. So it'll give you that information. I don't think it's been, and it'll be from all over the world. You'll see these are not just in English, which of course, if you wanted to do that, you could change over here to language and make them just in English. But it's going to be from all sorts of news and a lot of information on all that stuff. So that's kind of a nice place to start. Or if you're just looking for, again, people are also looking for cases in here too. And this was Smith versus Gamestop. This is from 2016, and the information from the United States District Court in Alabama. So you'll see US district courts. You'll also see Illinois if that's related. But again, this is, I know law students use this all the time, but business owners, for whatever reason, if you need that statutes and legislation information, or you need something, there's just a brief you needed to look through, this is a great place for that. And it is also, it's usually an invested question. So usually there's a lot of different research questions that usually go into that. But yeah, it's very useful. I found it to be, I'm really grateful we have it. And I will say a lot of patrons come from other libraries to use it because it is an expensive one. A lot of people don't have that information for those cases and those law reviews in there. So it's pretty useful. There is some overlap. You'll see stuff in Business Source Complete as well as Lexus Uni. There is legal information in Business Source Complete as well, but Lexus Uni is bigger. There's 2,100 business journals, but there's way more in Lexus Uni, and it's continually being updated. Yeah, so that is, oh good, we're at 45 minutes, great. So I'm sorry we didn't get to lynda.com. I'm gonna go ahead and, okay, we've got a chat here. Okay, Mary, thanks for hanging out. I'm gonna go ahead and pause recording.